How much is going to be increased by the various, because if they put the everyone was going to see. About trusting information is going to be bad.
Yeah.
You'll go to that. Money.
Yep. Are you good? We call the meeting to order. Pledge to the flag, please.
With allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First on our agenda is approval of last month's planning commission meeting.
I make a motion, we accept the minutes of the last meeting as presented.
Need a second?
Yep, I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. Any correspondence, Tammy?
No.
Next on our agenda is Dwyer's subdivision. Anybody here to represent? Hi. You're gonna tell us what's going on? Sure. Name and address?
Dennis Dwyer, 170 Town Hall Road West, Waterford. What I'm doing is, what I'd like to do. 50 years ago, when my dad sold me the property, he owned it all around there. Well, we never even thought about property lines and whatnot. Well, he is deceased now, but my brother inherited the house that he lived in last. And we always thought the property lines were different, but we found out they weren't. So all I want to do is just add on a little piece on the back of mine, so that my building is further from the property line.
Questions from the board?
That's it, yeah, I have a building on one end, and it's been at 50 years. I just want to make, it's like 10, 12 feet. My dad had it made a difference.
Sure.
You know, I don't know what he's gonna do.
Sure.
And he suggested the same thing, so
Makes sense.
just to sell it.
That's the right thing to do, make sure that it's all legal and that it's surveyed properly. That's an important.
And it's all, and Stanford did all that.
Yep.
Any other questions? Call for motion.
I'll make a motion that we approve as presented.
Second. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next on our agenda is Erie Sports subdivision.
From this project for several years now. Hopefully today we can take a positive step forward.
Any word?
But basically the plan we have presented here today is breaking apart property 300, which is the main parcel of the sports park where the ice hockey rink and that building reside. Basically what's transpired over the course of several years is they legally split the parcel, but it's not actually divided. So it's under one tax ID, but there's two separate owners that have owned the parcel and ran different operations under that same parcel. So the piece that we're proposing to break off is the dome facility in the AHN building, as well as the old fun park area. And the reason that we're looking to move forward with this is the owner is actually looking to sell the majority of the sports park. So as part of the sale, the people purchasing the property want to have that property divided so it's in their ownership legally and not, again, under someone else's.
Makes sense.
tax ID. So, the only caveat is we are, taking a small part of 305, which is kind of the southern property there, and it wraps up to the side. So, the reason for that is it's required for the parking ordinance, to maintain the proper parking spaces for the AHM facility. And the piece that we're showing to basically consolidate with the subdivided piece is the old basketball court. So if you back up.
Justin, I think there's a pointer there.
Okay.
That helpful.
Nothing else, okay.
On the side.
There we go. Yeah, okay, so what I'm referring to right here is this little rectangular piece. So this is approximately a little over an acre and a half. The rest of this is again just being split. So this would be the residue piece that would remain as parcel 3. This would be the new piece with the addition of this section here.
Now, as far as flow goes into the new parcel, is that around and then through this side? Yeah. Is that the way that works? Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Wow, you're dangerous now.
Yeah, they didn't cover that in college. Okay, so do I understand you have to come around and then through this way to get in?
Yeah, there's access around that facility here, like you mentioned. The other access is kind of right up here through that ramp and around the side here, to access this existing parking lot or blacktop area.
Okay,
Now,
so there's no plans to add anything here, right?
correct. So what this kind of dashed line is showing, this is the existing access agreement. So this is basically for shared access through the property. You know, one of the things that we've discussed with Tammy and Matt over the course of this project is keeping that maintained and operable just for safety measures, site access for EMS vehicles, things of that nature. And all we did was we kind of basically pushed this out, so this is in compliance with the frontage requirement, which kind of actually perfectly abuts with the edge of that access easement. Now, something else just to be aware of, you know, this is kind of just an intermediate step. You know, the future owners, whoever that ends up being, because he has several interested parties, you know, the long-term goal would be to consolidate, you know, all of this into one continuous parcel. Therefore eliminating this.
So we're not done here.
No, far from being done. Eliminating kind of the side setbacks and interior, you know, setbacks and stuff, because ultimately they want to do a lot of development on the property. It's going to be hopefully a great project for the township, but this is kind of the first step as far as, like I said, in kind of selling to an interested buyer.
Yeah, sure, yeah. The concern was for EMS vehicles.
Yes.
As you mentioned, and I just didn't want to see anybody get boxed in a way that an emergency happened. You know, these are events that attract large numbers of people.
Sure.
And lots of times you'll have a lot of vehicles in and out, you know, God forbid should something happen.
Yep.
So that's my number one concern, and I think there's a lot of moving parts here. You know, there's all kinds, there's legal aspects to it and all that other stuff.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, part of what's been discussed, again, this is kind of all conceptual now, but actually bringing a secondary access down to Robinson Road here. We're actually working with the water authority to develop a new water line through here. So, you know, again, long-term vision, there'll probably be an additional access point off of Robinson that would, you know, kind of connect Oliver to Robinson.
Okay. Yeah, let's see. Parking spots are the only other area, I guess you can work with that. You work parking spots.
So we want this done at the time of transfer, or it needs to be?
Yeah, to
When,
match it.
when the supervisors approve it, we would like to see the parking.
Yeah, and I can expand on that slightly as well. So, basically what we did, and it's kind of hard to see on this screen, but this is a summary table here of the different parking requirements per the ordinance and the uses currently on this, proposed subdivided parcel. So we again had several discussions with Matt and Tammy to kind of come up with this number. We did apply the 15% reduction, which left us with a required number of spaces of 199. And from this plan with the 2 parking areas allocated, we've come up with 201. So, this is basically all existing. There's a slight portion here that is not being utilized. This piece on the back end is, maybe there's a foot or 2 that's not paved currently. And then this is the fun park area. So this is kind of that ramp right in the center that I was talking about that you come up to. This is the main entrance, and there's that big kind of golf, soccer ball dome that welcomes you. And what we showed here is one-way traffic around the concrete pad to meet our existing parking, knowing that, again, this is likely to never be developed as it is, as it's proposed today. It's just a formality, so we're in compliance with the ordinance, but also, not skirting any rules and showing something that could be feasible, if it needs to be. And I think, Ron, to your point, this is that driveway here that looped around the dorms. Not shown on here, but this is kind of loops around and it comes right up through here. So there's kind of a driveway in here that wraps around the building. One thing we did show here too is if that wasn't, I guess, allowed, I think there's definitely an option to develop a new driveway here, kind of wipe out this berm and these couple parking spots and actually have a driveway that comes up this front ramp, because this is that other entranceway right here.
How rugged is this right in here? Like, if a vehicle absolutely had to, could a vehicle get in there? Or is it
Around the back. Is that what you're asking?
right here?
So right now, this is just a berm hill. There's no actual driveway here.
Yeah, but I mean, if in an emergency, could a vehicle just bump the curb and go?
No, it's too steep. They would have to drive around the back here.
Okay, I'm not familiar with that. Okay. All right.
So as far as requirements, would that be something we'd need to put in there to have that optional driveway accessible? Because either for,
They're showing it optional and required. I'm gonna rain on everybody's parade here. That basketball court still has hoops on.
Okay,
And looking at it, those hoops are taking up parking spaces.
gotcha.
So
So it doesn't need to be
those will
removed.
have to go. And I know we're talking, this is an interim step, but we've had quite a few interim steps that become permanent realities in this township. So it has to be done in a way that will function from the time the plan is approved until the next plan comes through. So whether they need to put millings down to get a suitable surface to get into that back parking lot and have a signage so people know how to get to it, you have to take whatever means are necessary. And we cannot approve this plan until those parking lots are in an operable state. Because whenever it's subdivided and you go through all the legal back and forth, where are people parking for the winter?
needs to be a busy area.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was,
Wayne, on the basketball court parking lot there, I don't see anything for ADA spaces and things of that nature, but I see it on the blacktop one down there.
Yeah, that's a good point. So what, we actually didn't include any ADA spaces here just because of the distance from this lot back to the entrance of the front buildings. We proposed all of our ADA parking right here. Just because again, this is that main access point that most people will be coming in and out of. So yeah, you're absolutely correct. We didn't have any ADA spots in here just because we felt it wasn't really a good use of that space.
How many is required?
Depends on the use and function. Like for my garage, it's a certain percentage, depends on what the facility is.
Yeah, typically it's a percentage of the total number of spaces.
So what's required?
You have to look at the book.
You know, I guess we want to cross that bridge though too, if we're gonna approve
Yeah.
something that needs
I
to
would.
be approved.
And honestly, I don't think you can legally have a parking lot that's not ADA compliant.
Correct.
I don't
Okay.
think that's gonna fly at all, actually.
Okay.
That's just my experience.
Sure.
Never seen a lot of parking lots. So I would definitely make sure you make that accommodation. Cause it's definitely, it'll cause problems either way.
Sure.
So where does that leave us?
The other question I have real quick is there an existing path from that basketball court to the dome structure?
I honestly don't know that, Matt. I can verify that.
I envision it as kind of acting as one parking lot, and if someone's going there, they're gonna go to the fun park area, look, see if there's a parking spot, there's none there, and then they're gonna get kind of corralled to the back, to the basketball court, and then find a spot there, and then they're cross-country hiking into the AHN facility.
And that's how I took Chris's comment with the ADA. I think this basketball court parking lot is compliant from like a slope percentage. You know, this is pretty flat, but yeah, point well taken as far as having an accessible ADA route to the front of the building. So if that's something we need to evaluate and look into to add to this plan, I think we could do that.
I think it makes sense. The letter of the law, kind of what we have to go to.
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't feel comfortable with anything that isn't fully ADA compliant. I mean, that would put us all at risk. And there are a lot of people in this community that do look at that stuff, a lot. Entire organizations, all they do is look at ADA compliant.
So do we want to incorporate that in or is it something?
Question is,
Should we
move
wait?
forward or not? Move forward with kind of on conditions that,
Under a time frame?
yeah.
What's that?
Are you under a time frame? It's probably not.
There's always a time frame. Part of the other thing I didn't mention yet, and I don't really have anything to do with this, but I'm aware of it. On the current owners of, you know, the main parcel that's being subdivided went to court. Basically the judge's take was, why are you wasting my time here today? And so they have a follow-up meeting on the 21st, or a hearing, I don't know the correct term, but, so that was part of the urgency for submitting this, because we wanted to show that, hey, we're moving forward. Surprisingly, both owners actually signed off on the plan fairly quickly, which in the past was not the case. It took 4 to 6 months to get signatures. So I think that's something else that's kind of behind the scenes going on. Again, not sure how that's going to play out between the parties, but
The judge will let them know, I think.
the judge will render a ruling hopefully on the 21st.
So that's saying, is that something we need to be, as part of our discussion?
I guess it's all wrapped up because we're concerned about parking spots, right? And the requirement is that the parking spots be remedied at the time the supervisors approve it.
Before they approve it, yeah.
That means lines on the parking lot, or,
At least we talked about it, we need to mark them, paint the lines in, at least.
This time of year, gonna be
Yeah.
fun.
I mean, the one counter to that too, and it's unfortunate, but the main, you know, the residual parcel with the ice rink facility, has over 500 parking spots. So if they were playing nice together, that more than covers
A
the
little bit,
required
yeah.
parking, for AHN and the Dome. So, you know, what was kind of discussed too is like ultimately people from AHN are gonna park probably illegally on the other lot. And that would be up to the other owner to kind of enforce that. But like to Matt's point, you know, I think we could include signage, paint the spots, and do that if that's required. Because again, this has been an evolving project and it's constantly been changing and it's been challenging for everyone in the room, so.
Referee.
Yeah. So I'm just presenting, you know, as much as I know. You know, I appreciate your guys' input too. I think those are well received.
never seen one quite like this. Have you? I've never seen one quite like this.
It's just quite creative.
Yeah, it's interesting, but
We're getting kind of jammed down our throat here, and it's just something that we need to spend a little bit of time to.
well, to me, are the lines for the new property, do they meet the ordinances? You know, the newly marked lines of the property, do they meet the ordinances? That's the new part that you've lined up. And I haven't heard anything that says, you know, like setbacks or, you know, lot size or shape or anything like that. I haven't heard anything that's negative. The only other thing that's on my mind then is parking. Am I correct?
Yeah,
Matt?
the issue is they're subdividing off a parcel that has no parking. And unless if they had a cross parking variance with the other parcel, we're gold, but they don't. So they have to create the parking they have, and in order to subdivide it, that parking has to be there the day it's subdivided.
It's a catch-22 though at this point.
Yes,
You know?
and now we're in there's no way you're gonna get asphalt this time of year. And I don't know what areas need to have hard surface, if there's green space in that fun area that needs to be ripped out and filled in with pavement, or if it's all 100% paved.
Yeah, the only area that would need modified in the fun zone would be this little 3-stall angled spot here. There's I think this is the practice green for the course. So that should be concrete underneath that little bit of turf.
Should be or is.
It is. I mean, if they build it on dirt, I'd be extremely surprised. But yeah, so that, I mean, as far as this layout, and that's what we tried to do here, obviously, with the urgency on the timing and getting this turned around and submitted. You know, we basically tried to come up with a parking plan that had the least amount of modifications necessary. Initially, we were actually looking at putting it in this kind of go-kart area, but with the grade changes and stuff, it was actually a lot more drastic than we had kind of anticipated. So getting that to be feasible parking was a long shot, to say the least.
Under the temporary conditions that you're kind of.
Yeah, exactly.
Here's where I'm coming from is that I think that we, the planning commission, are just somewhat limited in what we can do. You know, we can do what planning commission is supposed to do. We're supposed to make recommendations. We're supposed to approve maps. And like I said, because getting to the map seems to me to be approvable. How things are executed from here on, we don't get involved in that on a day-to-day basis, my opinion. So, I don't know, what are you guys thinking? Is the plan as presented, does it meet the ordinances? That's my
I think
question.
the ADA is a
The
huge
ADA.
point.
It's a big thing for me, I'll tell you. I mean, professionally, I could never have my name on something that is like that, is not compliant. I just couldn't, it'd be putting my board member at risk as well, so.
So that's a stumbling block.
Mhm.
To me, that's a stumbling block. Unless it's a conditional. You know, can you make it a condition? I know, don't feel comfortable about it.
That's almost the point where I have to call myself. Literally, and again, I'm trying to, I understand the optics of what's going on. The contingency I may be able to live with, you know, given all the circumstances that is surrounding this plan, if you will, and everything else is fine. I think if it's drawn out properly, again, what happens if it stays this way?
Sure.
You know,
That's for sure.
it's a hard one for me. Sorry, guys.
I agree.
Unfortunately, it's a real good reality, because we have third cul-de-sacs because we're gonna do the next phase
Never
next
happened.
year, and it never happened.
So do I call for a motion?
Is it appropriate to do a contingency for ADA parking spots? It's not, and I agree, I understand what Christopher's saying. It's not pointed out in the plan. Is there a way that it can be approved conditionally? I mean, I know that there's this, November 21st thing?
Yes.
That's not gonna hurry us to
That's
do
not
the
our
wrong
fault.
thing. I know, that's not gonna hurry us to do the wrong thing.
Yeah, understood.
I just want to make sure that if we can, if there's some way to accommodate that and move this forward and, you know, one step further down the road,
Well, and realistically, the odds of this being completely approved by that date it's not gonna happen.
Oh, yeah, I acknowledge that too. Again,
The fact that they've started the process, they're seeing you, like, if you go back and report that this planning commission tabled it due to concerns with parking layout, and I think that's showing that you're making progress.
but am I correct in saying that's the only concern that we've got? Is that,
Well, that we have control of.
that we have control, of,
Yeah,
the planning
for us.
commission can
Sure.
comment on?
yeah, ADA access and.
Right, I think that's the only thing, so,
And looking at it, I think 5 parking spots. These ones I can see, they got the access. This one probably does too. This one, you drop someone off here, do they have the slope to make it there? I don't know if it's too close to that ramp, contour wise, because it's probably gonna be, you might have enough that it's not a ramp, but you're gonna have too much of a cross slope maybe.
So any other suggestions? I called for a motion. Do we want to?
well, can the plan be amended? How difficult is it to amend the plan to allow for those ADA slots? Will there even be enough if the ADA slots are added to the parking lot?
I think currently the 8 stalls is what the minimum requirement is.
I think the numbers proportionally, it makes sense. I just wonder
What about location
the
of that?
practicality.
Yeah.
They're 2 different locations, right? Those are 2 different parking lots. And they would both have to conform.
Individually.
Correct. Now, if they're connected in a way, could you argue that they're the same lot? Maybe.
There's a driveway. I don't know if that's your.
You on the back end there?
That's a good point. I mean, is there any other place where you can create slots, where you can create parking slots?
I think the answer to that is definitely yes. It would require some demolition, like you know, right now on the one in the fun park, like this gazebo, you know, this loading area, this is the maintenance building, and this is the stage, you know, so there's batting cage. So there's definitely some areas where you could, one of the things we were actually talking about was converting this sand volleyball court to parking since this is flat. Again, we try, you know, with the time sensitivity, we tried to just show something that was permissible today. So yeah, I think the answer to that is definitely yes. It would just require some additional work, and like Matt alluded to with the weather. Yeah, it's a black topic.
And as an engineer, if I'm gonna put parking spots on the big lot, I'm gonna take them away from this lot and just move them over there. So the number of parking spaces won't change, it's just a matter of where they're located.
Okay.
Now, the crux with that back lot is do you have an ADA accessible path to the front door?
Mm-hmm.
So that's really issue number 2.
Yeah.
That's a separate issue. So that's a pathway rather than just an ADA parking spot.
Right.
So I think, my personal opinion is that I think there's just too much open here to approve a plan. That's the way I feel about it. And I know there's this 21st of November deadline that, you know, you guys are shooting for, but
Well, it was brought before in front of the board, so I think that's showing some positivity, you know, to
yeah, and
heading in
it's
the right
boiled
direction.
down to 2 issues. I mean, that, you know, we're talking dirt and asphalt here. This isn't like something that's, you know, like sewer lines or water lines we have to rip up or anything like this. We're talking about parking spots, and
Sure.
and it's you know, it's not impossible. You know that.
Have you started making efforts to do this on the site?
In regards to like striping it,
Striping and making sure that,
I doubt it.
because if we have a month until the next meeting, if we get it done, we can always have a field trip out there and planning commission goes out, takes a look at it.
Yeah, I'd be willing to do something out of cycle. If you want to do something out of cycle, you know, I'd be willing to do that. You know, are you okay with that, Chris?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think that's fair. So we'd be willing to do something out of cycle.
Okay.
We don't have to wait like a whole month.
Okay. Appreciate that.
Yeah. You're still not gonna meet your 20.
Oh, I know. We've been battling this thing for years, so.
Yeah, you're a seasoned veteran. We
understand. Yeah, anything is progress in my mind, so.
Okay.
So is that saying, what's our motion then?
Motion is to table until next meeting, or some out of cycle meeting that would be before the next meeting.
Okay. Fair enough.
Any more discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Thank you for your time.
Yep, thank you.
That was an interesting.
Good luck.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, good luck.
The next on our agenda is Commonwealth of Pennsylvania Department of General Services amended land development plan.
All right, so I'm gonna be representing this, I'm gonna go to the podium because then I have a later. So this was put on the agenda, real quick, that way they can keep moving. But right now, most of the facilities there, they're looking to add 40 by 60, I believe it's going to be an evidence storage facility in the back here, an 11-foot wide driveway leading back with a 7-foot improved stone surface next to it to get the 18-foot required access to the back. As part of the discussions, we talked to the fire department, and they ran a separate fire line back to the facility with a fire hydrant, because originally the fire line stopped at the building. They're doing a separate line going back, so if for some reason caught on fire, the fire department would have access to get back here and fight the fire. And that would meet the requirement in the ordinance, which is any structure needs to have a fire hydrant within 500 foot, because the existing hydrants over here, it was more than, I think, it was close to 700 feet away. So they are currently, if it's not installed already, they are in the process of installing that fire line and hydrant, and it's going back to, I believe, this island here. which is right next to their fueling station, which is convenient.
Any extra requirements for stormwater?
No,
It's all
the existing
impervious.
stormwater was sufficient to handle the additional impervious. They had some built-in capacity.
You got a lot packed onto that parcel, you know, there is a lot on
That's why I asked the question, because it doesn't seem like there's a whole lot of.
They have more than one facility. They have
it.
They have the above ground here that you can see as you drive by. There's underground here, there's another above ground here, and then an above ground facility here. So a lot of stormwater going on here.
I just wish for their sake they had more room, you know, because it looks like they've almost outgrown it already and they have to move.
Well, compared to what they have now, this is just a Taj Mahal, so.
Yeah.
And what I don't understand is why the 11th hour they want to add this building. I'm sure that it had to be planned as an integral part, unless they want to change the complexion of the headquarters building and make it what the two buildings are in Lawrence Park.
I think, and Tammy can correct me if I'm wrong, if I'm saying this wrong, but from my understanding was this was going to be kind of an add-on in the future, but as they're going along, they found the funding to add it now. So why not put it in while you still have everybody there?
Law enforcement point of view, to put a evidence storage facility that far from your structure.
Originally, they wanted to put it up in this area, but with zoning, they didn't want to have to go through the zoning hearing board process. They're trying to keep things moving. And you have wetlands that they're trying to protect it here, so they can't build in this area. So this was kind of like the last buildable spot they had.
Like I said, from a law enforcement standpoint, it doesn't.
Yeah, I don't think they're too keen on the location either, but
Doesn't make sense.
it's the last area they had.
And if they're gonna eventually consolidate the crime scene lab in there, they would need a fairly large repository for evidence.
Yeah.
But
And they don't plan to have this be a staff building. It's just storage.
I heard maintenance,
Heated?
building, tractors.
Is it gonna be heated too?
Evidence,
that would make.
I think it's cold storage. Yeah, it's gonna be a cold storage building.
whole building.
Unheated.
Correct.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that makes sense, and it wouldn't be like evidence facility.
And uncooled also, yes.
When you have court,
No, I don't think it's gonna be like where they keep active cases. It's gonna be like, maybe not speaking right, but I think it's like stuff that's done and over. It's just,
but it's still, you
Sorry, but
don't,
just.
you don't remove that, you know, in
you
my
know better than I
experience.
do.
You don't remove from an area that's safeguarded, that you can't swear up and down that the area has been protected,
Yeah.
That's good.
and it's just kind of too far removed. But anyhow, it meets everything else.
Yeah.
I don't see any problem myself.
Yeah, and honestly, I think the only they originally wanted it, I think, up in this area here, but they were gonna be too close to they were gonna be within the setback, and they'd have to go through the whole zoning hearing board, and not knowing that it was gonna be a sure thing, and then it would be outside the fenced-in compound, so that's why they moved it back here.
Just wish they had more room for their sake.
Yeah. Okay. Nothing like eating up, how was it, like a 10-acre parcel?
And they tacked along.
So we need a motion on that then, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
So I'll call for a motion.
I will make the motion to approve the plan as presented.
I'll second the motion.
Any more discussion? All in favor? Aye. Motion carried. Next on our agenda is the comprehensive plan update.
I don't have anything this evening.
I have nothing.
Awesome.
1 year closer.
Yeah.
T-minus 2 years,
Other business?
right?
Just do this.
It's exciting.
Other
Are you
business?
excited for that?
Okay, public comment? All of you out there that,
You packed this place.
I need the adjournment.
I'd like to make a motion that we adjourn.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Motion carried.
Nay.
Thank you.